the courtroom bombing incident. A terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. Mr. Wright brought it to a resolution, of sorts. Ted to Nate was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. If only it were that simple. Somehow, I can't help but think that there's a darker influence at work. One that's lurking in the shadows, waiting. That's why I want to review the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. After all, I've got more than a few personal stakes in it. Okay, so we have officially reached the point where, things get real, basically. Oh, wow. Okay, alright. Suddenly a cutscene.
One hour remaining until launch. Please begin your final equipment check.
Check complete. Everything's A-okay. We're ready here whenever you are.
Come in at 2. Come in. Do you copy?
Holy crap, okay. Going from 0 to 300 on this one. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to more Let's Play Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. I am the Max Few Trades. In the last part, we finished up, clearing Juniper Woods' name, and Athena was able to, successfully get through her first real case on, as she was the lead defense. And things were going pretty good. Things were going pretty great. And now it appears we are catching up to the point in the timeline where the game originally started. And it's looking like things are about to get rather dire. But, all right, okay, sure. Man, have we ever started in the courthouse this late in the game before? I'm not sure. Okay, all right. Time for another trial to begin. But this one is different. Sorry to bother you, but... Oh. Hi, Junie. Are you alright, Apollo? Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Chords of Steel exercises. Now I'm all ready to go. Yeah, knowing you, I'm sure you'll be just fine. It's kind of your whole thing. Oh, I brought you a present from my garden. Yeah! Is this a lotus root? Yes, that's right. My grandma says lotus root is good for your eyes. And you've got crazy good eyes. So imagine if you had super eyes. That'd be nice. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it and... Thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now! Oh my. Crunch. Kinda tough though. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to, yeah, you can't eat it raw, but thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oof. She didn't think me weird before, she will now. I gotta calm down. Apollo, I'm no expert on the lay days, but I gotta say, I think she might be into it. I don't think you're doing anything wrong right now, buddy. Apollo! I'm sorry I'm late. It's all good, Athena, don't you worry, girl. Hi, Athena. Junie! I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it. You sly little thing, you. Athena, stop! Well, it's nice to see that Athena isn't completely oblivious. Quit kidding around, Athena. She's not! She's not! You dorks. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo. When will you ever figure it out? Oh, Apollo. When will you ever figure it out? Figure out what? Oh, the whole crush thing, obviously. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Oh, hello. Astro Man. This is it. It's all over for me. You're gonna find me guilty. All right, can I get some context up in here? This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Sol Starbuck. He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. I mean, that definitely is the impression his hairstyle gives me. Although his head, I just realized, with the goatee and the thing on his, and the way his head is styled, his head looks like a rocket. That's very silly. The scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. We'd asked about space travel, and he'd launch into a story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. What happens? Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. Nobody with a head shaped like yours could ever do anything wrong. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. He's so depressed, it almost seems like an act. Bro's turned into a goose. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that! Don't stop believing! Besides, you just have to go into space again. It's not that hard. Surely not. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran. I can't believe he was murdered. I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. He has such a shonen-ass face and haircut, though. Wow. With the Band-Aid and everything? Yo, that dude looks like the protag of his own story. That sucks. I mean, that he's dead. Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. Way to depress me even further about this. I always already get kind of bummed out by the victims more often than not. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? Never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. I mean, it's a justifiable reason to be depressed. Clay's gone, and I'm going to prison. I wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine! What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today, you'll see. And in exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? Well, let's find out. You know, that part's not important right now. Oh, well, about that. We didn't get to investigate the area as much as I'd have liked, thanks to the police. Or at all, by the sounds of it. What is up with this? Ugh, oh my goodness, okay. Cause of death, stabbing. The victim was discovered in the 3rd floor boarding lounge in the main building. And that's everything I've got, huh? Okay, that's a uniquely uphill battle for us, but okay, sure. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. Thought I was gonna soar like a comet, but I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. Oh, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Come on. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you gotta keep going. And what about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't... Oh, that's what I was worried about. That's horrible. Apollo, how is Apollo so... I mean, even if he's purely pretending, he is oddly chill. I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? That's a potential coping method, perhaps. Apollo. The trial's about to begin. If the defense would please proceed into the courtroom. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. Okay, all right. For Clay's sake, and our clients', I will find Clay's killer. Okay, all right, all right. Man, all right, everything feels so incredibly, I don't know, tense for some reason, you know? All right. Court is now in session. Blackwell is, of course, the only prosecutor working these days. Which makes it all the more bizarre that Payne showed up in the first case at all, given the timeline of events, but all right. Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. What, huh? The defense is ready, Your Honor. Excuse me, Mr. Justice? Yes, Your Honor? What happened to your eye? I'm fine! The defense is ready, Your Honor. Okay, that's more than a little concerning, honestly. What is that about? Are you sure? I don't... I'm fine, Your Honor! The defense is ready! Not for nothing, it's really nice to see the judge so concerned. I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a sty. I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss, and I guess it's none of my business, but I'm still worried. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. I mean, that could be a factor, perhaps. Very well, and the prosecution? The prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Silence!
Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Huh? Whoa! Well, all right then. We're not wasting any time, are we? The prosecution is now ready. Well, didn't take him long this time. What's up with Blackwell? What's up with you? Now then, I shall give the opening statements.
Silence!
Or not, I guess. I'll do it. You will? What an unexpected surprise. This time, I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. What? The judge is just like me. He's like, what is with the heightened sense of dramatic tension going on in this room right now? I'm uncomfortable. Something is off with the two of you today. Yeah, you could say that. You both seem different somehow. Okay. Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell, your opening statement, if you would. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. Oh, that famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. They're different things. It's a common misconception, so I'm not gonna get on your case for it, but just, you know, try to remember that in the future. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site, friggin' exploded! 2 explosive devices were detonated. That's right, I remember now. Back when we did the first case, it was like the bombing of the courthouse had to do and during a trial that was also about a bombing. I remember now. My word, 2 bombs. How dreadful. The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and with murder. I'd sure love to know a motive on this one. Why would an astronaut want to blow up a rocket? One Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. Solomon Starbuck. I recognize that name. Isn't he that famous astronaut? Correct, your boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the Hat 1 rocket 7 years ago. Might I inquire as to your age, good sir? I know that the series gets a little wiggity wonkity wackety wacky with this sort of thing, but 23, 33. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, that actually lines up. That's totally acceptable. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, his mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he's a living legend. I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? Well, now I need to know details about his first flight. Oh my, hello. Old hairstyle. They even turned the incident into a movie. Wow, mankind's hope for the future. I've got to make it back alive. Come along on a captivating space odyssey that will take your breath away. My goodness. A documentary in 3D? Whoa, we've got a real space pioneer in court today. I can barely read that with the text in the back. But even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. Returning to the subject at hand. Ah, yes, he is in fact the defendant, isn't he? The victim was one Mr. Clay Tarrant, a subordinate of the defendant. Indeed, a loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant. I'm gonna need a better reason than that. And so, he was sent not into space, but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there is one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, it's pretty familiar. What purpose does it serve, exactly? Since you asked so nicely, and only because you asked nicely, otherwise I would have never bothered telling you. It's your coffin? Excuse me? What? What the hell? Have mercy on me! I jest. It's evidence. That's not even remotely funny as a joke. I get that dark comedy is sort of your thing. You got like a warped, dark sense of humor and whatever bullcrap, but like, dude, what the hell? Due to its immense size, we've little choice but to lay it where it rests now. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time. Well, we know it's a bomb. I feel like I just lost 50 years off of my life. How old do you anticipate becoming, Judge? Hopefully forever. Just an infinite. Does he even have 50 years left? He could. He should. He better. Inner monologue, Athena. Inner monologue. Enough jabbering. I'm here now! Bobby Fulbright's the name, and justice we trust. Oh, Detective Fulbright, it's your face again. Very well then. Please explain the details of the incident to the court, if you would. Okay, on it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Okay. Well, it's got a museum attached to it. That's pretty cool. Launch pad and a whole bunch of floors. Okay. For a more detailed look at what's on the left side of this building, check out this mess. Ooh. Okay. Connected by the third floor, upper, lower, middle. Okay. This is all gonna be important. Take a look at this cross-section that we, the police, have created. See the launch pad in the main building? The launch pad is in the square building and the rounded structure is the main building, right? You got it! The incidents took place in launch pad 1 and in the main building's lounge. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony. It'll make it easier to understand. All right, makes sense. I'm gonna need a whole lot of info here. Like, more so than normal. Like, this ain't no first case. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom, 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 ba, 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 boom. Wow, so spooky. On the second floor of the Space Center's main building, and one at Launch Pad 1. Oh, that's interesting. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launch Pad 1 at the time. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. What's up with that? A murder on top of a bombing? Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the lounge, correct? Yep. Thinking he'd sabotage the bombing, the defendant killed him right there in the rocket. Then why carry them with him? Like, he was clearly, like, dragging the guy with him. That doesn't make any sense. Just look at this tragic photo! Yeah, I did see it. That is very tragic. Oh my. Is that a knife in the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor. It's the knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints off of it, though, because the defendant was in his spacesuit. Okay. Interesting. By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photograph? That's not what it looked like in the anime cutscene. We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all. Okay. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprints. Or at the very bare minimum, teeth. Now, there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What is this round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important to the victim, he took it with him as he escaped the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. Wait, hang on. Something so important the victim took it with him when he escaped the launch pad. But we all just said that he was killed in the rocket. Unless the idea is that he got stabbed and was all like, I gotta get to a hospital, but I can't not bring my asteroid samples. That doesn't make any sense. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case. I see. So, we know that the bomb in the main building was on the second floor. But where was the bomb that was in Launchpad 1 located? That one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rockets. But quite frankly, you could put a bomb on any part of a rocket, and if you set it off, it's gonna destroy the rocket. You damage any part of a rocket, it's just done. You don't have to actually, aim or go for anything. It's just done. Apparently, the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram report into the record. Alright. Handy. Dandy. Okay. The trial just started and we're already in a bind. You get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the two astronauts were doing during the bombing. That'll be the key. Yeah. I get you. Alright. I dare say it's time for me to press, because I need more information. Alright, just before the rocket was set to launch, two bombs were to... I don't have any immediate contradictions, so... Hold it! Let's just fish for whatever info we can get. How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down. But the room it went off in was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? Ha! I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there whenever and wherever people need my help. I'd go to the other side of the world or even the edge of the universe. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is. I also don't think he knows that that's not even remotely an answer. But okay, whatever, man. But I guess I'll leave that one alone. I guess he just likes space. Admirable decision, Justice Stono. Huh? What'd he decide? Don't worry about it. Anyway, could you describe what it was like at the Space Center at the time? The bomb cut the power to the central bank of elevators and the third floor lounge. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? It has one of those? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. I guess in case a rocket explodes. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. It is? Oh. Wait, hang on. The Space Center's pretty impressive to have its own shelter. Hang on a second. Is that even there on the first one? Wait. Oh. There was a first... Remember, there was a picture and it had, the Space Museum on the other side. All right. Well, anyway. The fact of the matter is that part of the UI is covering that up. Leave me alone. Evacuation report. The bombs went off despite tight security. Police officers and riots I gave evacuation order. Okay. How's that gonna help? The power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. Yeah, well, I still got evidence and stuff, so, clearly it was a good idea. So there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right. All right, yeah, it seems like pressing stuff is absolutely the way to go about it. One on the second floor of the Space Center's main building, and one in the Launchpad 1. Hold it! Can we get any information as to the why of those two locations? Let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives? What are you talking about? What do you mean, what am I talking about? If the defendant really did plant the bomb on his own rocket, he'd get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's some fresh-baked nonsense right there. Fine. A simpleton for a simpleton. Foolbright, the motive. Yes, please, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. What? Astrophobia? I mean, it's clearly a fear of space. What do you mean the astronaut had astrophobia? A fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. Okay, wait, no. No. I have questions, okay? Listen. A phobia can definitely lead to people doing some pretty irrational things at times. It is by nature irrational. That's what a phobia means. However, I feel as if there were about 532 billion different ways to get out of being on a spaceship than blowing it up with a bomb. Because, and I feel like I don't need to bring this part up, how would one even acquire the bombs? How would one, and then set them up, and then blow them up? Why blow them up while on the ship? If he wanted to, if the goal was to blow up the rocket so he didn't have to get onto it, wouldn't he do so when he isn't on it? Again, I get it. Irrational. Irrational fears lead to irrational panics. I get that. But that would sort of imply that he had the forethought and the planning to get bombs, set them up, get onto the ship, and then go, oh, hell no, I don't want to do this, and then blew it up. That's well beyond the point of paranoia, irrationality, and even stupidity. I do not buy that. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? Anti-anxiety medication? Anti-anxiety tablets were found among the defendant's possessions. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. Okay. I'm not questioning the notion that the defendant has a fear of space. We clearly just learned not that long ago that apparently something horrible happened up there. But if that's the case, then, I mean, maybe he felt obligated to continue to do so? But there's a line, man. This is sketchy. There were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck.
Objection!
But that doesn't mean he'd go so far as to blow up his own ship.
Silence.
There are so many other ways to do it. Donk, donk. The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? No, not after the media had branded him Soul Starbuck, space pioneer extraordinaire. Given these conditions, the defendant could hardly run away like some base mutt. So that's why you think he resorted to the bombing? There are other ways to sabotage a rocket ship that don't involve exploding things. Naturally, he constructed the act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the space center. Rockets are such extraordinarily intricate machines. There are so many different aspects of it that could go wrong. And if a single one of those various checks that all of those people at the base are looking over sees, oh dang, there's a little something going on over there, then it's immediately called off. Like, that... And nobody saw? Are you saying, well, hang on. Are you trying to tell me that there was a bomb planted on the rocket and nobody looked over the rocket? They gave it a little once-over to just go like, okay, yeah, no, everything seems ship-shape. They just kind of went off vibes and assumptions? Because that... Either there's something seriously up about all this, or the people over at that space center are very incompetent. Which would effectively abort the launch. I'm sorry for talking so much, but like... I take much issue with this, which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation. Now, I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal. Uh-huh, sure, alright. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launch Pad 1 at the time.
Hold it!
Okay, let's keep talking. Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those 2. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket.
Silence!
Yeah, okay. The notion of a third party in Launch Pad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device? It sounds as futuristic and complex as a space center. Yeah, but they're notoriously easy to, get past. Look, I saw a whole Mythbusters episode about those things. They suck. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think. Hey, Your Honor, take a look at this mess. This is the door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel whose fingerprints are registered can pass through. I see. It is very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through the door that door yesterday? Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos. Okay, that almost sounds too convenient for me. Then doesn't that mean it's possible that the director is the one who did it? Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs exploded at 9:28. You know, that's the real interesting and crazy and funny thing about bombs. They come in over a bajillion different varieties, including ones with timers. Doing his job directing the launch. Besides, having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts. Okay, but I would purport that the motive given to the defendant is absolute lunacy, pun half intended. He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. I fail to see why not. I legitimately fail to see why they can't. But okay. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. Hold it! All right, continue to talk to me. So while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. And the defendant dragged the corpse out of the rocket, is what we're being told. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? You got it! In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, he would have for sure tried to stop the bombing. Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket? They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space! And then both of their hopes and dreams were dashed. If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape, carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. Yeah, he carried the victim to make it look like a rescue, which is why he stabbed him and left the knife in there? None of this makes sense! But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. Hoy! And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were 2 of them. 2 first people see the victim. The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm. Well, how about that? One of them was a detective? Yep, Detective Arm specializes in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. Sorry. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant. 2 witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me. Unlikely! I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime. What little I could get out of him only hurt my case. Justice, Dono. Foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you take a gander at this. What the heck is this? It's a blank CD-ROM. What are you trying to get me to see? Footage from a security camera. As the 2 astronauts emerged from the bowels of the Launch Pad 1 corridor. The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. I don't see a knife. Also, this implies that Starbuck was the one who brought the asteroid samples. Which, again, is going against a lot of the things I heard before, but I can't point out contradictions against what people are just saying around me. It has to be in a cross-examination. Aye. Now, I would direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering. Sorry, that was not Fulbright. What the defendant is shouldering. Which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim. But I don't... Unless the angle is just wonky, I don't see a knife. What? I mean, it would make sense that there were security cameras. Order in the court! This lines up exactly with what the prosecution has been asserting. I should have known Blackwell would have something like this ready. All right. I didn't see a knife. Apollo? How exactly did they determine that Clay was already gone in that footage? No idea. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Whether Clay was still alive at this point is pretty crucial. Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Tarrant was still alive here and that Mr. Starbuck was helping him? I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. Silence. You're more than welcome to explain how I'm not right here. Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. You look like Cruella DeVille's butler. Piss off. But it only makes sense if the victim's dead. If it's the victim's dead body. What do you mean? Fool, right? Explain it to Justice Dono. You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, someone could have spotted it. Anyone can enter the lounge, after all. But doing it while they were alone in the spaceship? That's a horse of a different color.
Objection!
Right, blue, purple, any color you want, really. But you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the lounge. All that video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence.
There's no knife in the footage! Your assertion is based on emotion, and yours is based on being an asshole. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple. But you have no logical explanation as to why the victim could still be alive. There's no knife in the footage. Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic. It sounded perfectly logical to me. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close. Objections? Well,
Hold it!
Athena's here! Athena! Our savior, your honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup. Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need. What is it, Athena? It's just, there's something that's been bothering me. I'm more than willing to be listening. If it isn't the defense stalling for time as always. Well, if it isn't the prosecution being smug and up their own ass, as if, like every other time I've ever gone up against anybody on the other side of this godforsaken courtroom. Very well, I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time. Yes! You have 5 seconds. Gah, you suck! After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed and a verdict to be rendered. Your baldness, raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown. What, like a rocket launch? Oh. Ready? Oh, this is dumb. We don't have time. Spit it out, Athena. Only 3 more seconds. Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete. Meaning there's something missing. It's been 5 seconds. Like they conveniently left it unexplained. Something they didn't explain? Something they didn't explain. Ah! You're right. I don't know what we're going on with, but okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I hope the game doesn't ask me to figure that out, because I don't know. Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument that you'd like to rebut? I guess. Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There's something the prosecution has yet to make clear to this court. Well, if you put it that way. Oh, delightful. Okay, the motive for murder. No, we have talked about that. Yeah, that's something I brought up. Why bring it at all? They failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave the body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge? Oh, well, that's true. I don't think we've heard the prosecution's thought on that yet. That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? You got anything you want to say on that one, buddy? The prosecution is claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But what if the entire premise of that argument is wrong? Well, let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice. You got it. The defense proposes that the defendant didn't kill the victim, he was helping him. Ah! Fulbright, explain it for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. You are literally monochrome! Oh my god! Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim. Huh? They've got to be joking! It's simple! Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. How? He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner, then why stab him? Why is there still a knife in his corpse? That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there'd be a record. At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man. Come on. Apollo. If I'm wrong, I'll accept it. But bring it up, man. The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds. Saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames? What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen. Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story. You see, if he was trying to make it seem like he didn't do it, then there wouldn't be a goddamn knife in his chest! Yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to be blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. The third explosion? What?
Objection!
What the hell do you mean? What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Silence!
You didn't, nobody brought this up. Indeed, you are correct. But that is, thanks to Detective Arm, it was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The steel coffin beside the witness stand. That would be a bomb transport case. We use that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge. A bomb in the form of a most distasteful toy. Hey-oh. Ah, what? On the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 fireworks displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated. Or had it not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated. I don't know the word, I'm sorry. I mean, I know the word, I don't know how to pronounce it. I've only ever seen it written down, never spoken. Considering the amount of bombs, it really doesn't seem like why would the defendant attempt to drag the body over, like assuming it's a dead body, he's like, all right, I killed him, now I'm gonna drag him over to pretend that I totally tried to save him, ignoring the fact that he decided to leave a whole ass knife in there, as if that wasn't a massive red flag. Let's ignore that. At that point, if there was another bomb in the lounge, what you're saying is the intended plan of the defendant was to blow up the rocket he was inside, drag the corpse of his protege all the way through the corridor into the blown up lounge, which would be even more on fire, and then continue to go down to somewhere even more on fire. The statistical odds of even surviving all of that are astronomically low at that point. Pun completely not intended on the astro part, my bad. And at that point, I'm left to ask, it didn't seem like there'd be any chance of survival. So at that point, it doesn't seem like he was trying to survive. So at that point, why would he even bother dragging the body around? It doesn't make any sense.
Objection!
Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me. It's like he's reading my mind. As it is still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that a peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. Donk, donk. Specifically, a bomb detonation switch. Yeah, we never did find that, did we? Now you found a what? Okay, see, now finally we have actual incriminating evidence. Okay. I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. when the Space Center director and Detective Arms stumbled across the murder. So he thought to hide it in his pocket. A terrible hiding spot, really. At the very bare minimum, he should have thrown it. So he thought to hide, a feeble-brained that he is. Ah! No! Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that! Yeah, we get it. You can cut a goddamn feather out of the air. Who cares?! Also, Apollo is not going through this very well. Justice Dono, open your eyes and see the truth. This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions. No! There has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth. Still can't accept it? You'll believe in your own clients, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself? This has got to be a trap. It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game. Yeah, he has a weird habit of that. Also, I know that wasn't intentionally like a fourth wall leaning against it sort of type situation, but it sure did come off that way. Yeah, seems like he was waiting for me to bring up the body moving issue. Why do you say that? Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve, too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down. Then making you cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of the plan, too? Totally underhanded. But I wouldn't expect anything less from him. At this point, yeah. Now let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself, famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck. Obviously, everything that comes out of this dude is going to be incredibly incriminating. Okay, here we go. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen? Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony? No. Oh. Alright, then you can go home. Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. Then why'd you even ask him in the first place? Yeah, sorry, you don't get a choice in the matter. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Terran. Please testify to these allegations. Mind if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy. It's weird you kept it on, honestly. Silence! It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. No, it's definitely the suit. It weighs a lot. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life. Banish me to the moon. I don't care anymore. Oh, that's great. Wow, that was super negative. Is he gonna be all right up there? Clearly not. He'll be fine, you think? No, I don't think a defeatist defendant like this is really going to be beneficial to us. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. Which kind of seems like he might. Kind of coming off like that's totally what's happening here, but okay. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of that rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. And I already see a problem. Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay, I was trying to save him. There's an issue. So you assert you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim? But I bet you think I'm lying, right? I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony. I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. Oh my god, I don't think the judge doubts that! You had a movie! Who'd wear a suit like that except an astronaut? A poser, I guess? I mean, I'm not saying he is, but I mean, somebody could. And we'll say that when I saw you in that movie, and you appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality never quite lives up to the fantasy. Man, I gotta say, I've got like two screens here. I have the recording on my monitor over here on the right, and the small TV I use to record console games on the left. The color balance is so wonk on the TV, I really could not read that at all. I had to look over onto the other monitor for that. Boy, anyway, you appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality never quite lives up to fantasy. I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I really don't care what happens anymore. Oh no, he's completely given up! That's an entirely different person making that noise. What's happening? What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on the other inmates. Well, then why did it say question mark, question mark, question mark? Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago? Yeah, there it is! What? That was Blackwell sighing? Was it? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't be gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth. Okay. Here we freaking go. I didn't kill him! All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Alright, so unless I'm mistaken, wasn't there something here? The explosion sparked a fire on the second main floor in the middle of the launch pad near the elevator. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Objection!
Kinda hard to use an elevator that's, like, blowing up. Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right. Which means... Exactly. The Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words... Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. He's wearing a helmet now. What's with the helmet? Mission Command! Mission Command, do you read me? Come in, please!
Objection!
This is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention! Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck. This kind of comes off as like PTSD. Yeah! My helmet! My oxygen tank! Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining! Requesting medical assistance! Yeah! Your Honor, I would like to request that my clients seek professional counseling. Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up. Was that faked? I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut. Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you used the middle level elevator? I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think. Oh, that's incredibly good. A different route? Okay. I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time. I'll get it right this time. Maybe. No, I mean probably. Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, your accuracy is paramount in court. Like, to an obscene degree. Okay. My escape route. Alright, talk to me. Let's see, my escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe. Probably. I don't know. With the capsule and Clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. Okay. So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. Yeah, I see that, but I also see a problem. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we could make our escape that way. Okay. And the capsule you mentioned. I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Taryn here? Was the capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you? I thought it was the victim's item, not his. It almost goes without saying, but yeah, that capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. With the spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important. Guess I just read that wrong. I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony. Maybe I am guilty after all. I wonder if you can see the stars in prison. That's more comfortable than a spaceship. Bruh. All right, well, no, I'm seeing additional issues here. All right, let's see, my escape route. What I said before was a mistake. Probably do. I remember now. I took a different route, maybe, probably, possibly, I don't know. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. On a ladder.
Objection!
You went down a ladder without your arms. Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth? Do you have any idea the leg and core strength you'd need for that? The truth? Well, let's see. The Earth is blue? No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue? Yeah, that's it. What? The truth, Mr. Starbuck. Ah! The oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him. Yeah, okay. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Eh? Not as long as this was along the escape route. The whole ass goddamn frickin' ladder.
Take that!
Unless you plopped them both down, just yucked them, I guess. To get down from the upper to the middle level was a Launchpad 1 corridor, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck? Of course. That was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
And yet! But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Tarrant over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds. Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
That's a really cool fact, but not helpful in this instance. But the Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other, is impossible, wouldn't you say? Oh. So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down that ladder with your arms full? Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth now! My air again! Engineer! Where's that engineer? Oxygen leak detected in a faulty band. Evacuation! What the? He's flying the coop! Help! I'm caught on the ceiling! Help? Anyone? Bailiff! Prepare the cherry picker! We must launch our rescue mission at once! Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so he can go to space again someday for real. Well. That was weird. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? I mean, he only has one parachute, so I'd hope. Yes, I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Not that. Anything but that. What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. It appears Space Boy is prone to deception. Witness? Yeah. Yes. I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect? What medical side effect? Growing a third arm for the purposes of climbing ladders? Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Blackwell? Didn't I already state that Space Boy is, ironically, terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Oh? I sense things are about to nosedive. What kind of, wait, no, straight up, what kind of medical side effects? Is it just like, are the anti-anxiety, like, medicines so incredibly powerful that they, like, warp his brain? Like, what are you trying to say? You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it? How could that be? Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember? Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened. What? What kind of anti-anxiety medication makes you not remember things? That's a hell of a side effect. I don't think that's worth it. Order in the court. We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? Guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space. Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question. I mean, it answers my question as to why he kept saying bullcrap like that. He straight up doesn't remember if he did or he didn't. Of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body. Yeah, mind explaining that? Does? Yeah, so what? A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. Thonk thonk. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Oh my, I see. Well, I guess I did pose that as a theory. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hands.
Objection!
Drop the body down? Who would do such a despicable thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. Or at least, I don't know, push the knife in further or knock it out or something. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct. Really? Oh, thanks? Ah, burn my face, burn my face! Huh? What's this? That's an oxygen tank. It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit that apparently a hawk was able to carry around. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. Oh. Oh, you can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am. For they fracture easily when struck.
Objection!
Ah, come on. Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel would leave its mark on the body. Yet according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence!
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. That's right, I'm talking pure asbestos, baby! The fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer.
Objection!
But shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way into its target. That is such bullcrap. What are the chances? You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suits work. If he knew that there was a structural weakness in the spacesuits, then you should bring that up with the people at the goddamn space center. Hey, yo, there's a structural weakness on my goddamn spacesuit. Fix it. It's got me there. And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. I still don't see a knife in there. I don't see a knife. He shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Tarrant. Ah! Here, the report regarding the astronauts' oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx. Yeah, I don't think they accept that as currency, but it's not legal tender! The victim's tank was ruptured with 0% left. The defendants had 80% remaining oxygen as deployed on the left shoulder. Okay. Then why did I see it 50 in that photo? Hey, this report is pretty detailed. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. After the incident, the victim's tank was ruptured and the remaining oxygen was 0. The tank belonging to Starbuck, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full. Tanks were functioning properly at the time. I guess that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen in the tank. Theory! Theory. What if that's Terran carrying Starbuck? That has nothing to do with what's going on right now, but I just realized that that's a very real possibility because he was apparently drugged and he doesn't remember things. What makes more sense at that point? You know? But yeah, no, there's obviously a big ol' honkin' contradiction here. I guess that means, yeah, represent the oxygen in the tank. I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space. Space boy. Yes? Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars. You mean the stars as seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. That's not a half-bad thought. Mr. Starbuck? Prosecutor Blackwell got him to him good. Yeah, well, to be fair, he's not exactly a difficult target to crack, now is he? Spaceship prison cell, fly me, my guilt and my despair, into the deepest, darkest space. And then let's get sucked into a black hole together!
Objection!
Okay, well, that's a fate worse than death. Jesus Christ, my dude. Come on now. Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope. Oh. Yes, Apollo? Oh my god, Apollo. Apollo 13. Is that the entire... No, that can't be the basis for why they did a space-themed one now. I'm pretty sure that's not his name in Japan, so it can't be why. You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said, you are an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation. He said that? So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected and believed in you, Clay Tarrant. For Clay. You're wasting your breath. Was that your mind fracturing or... Oh, no. He's on the level. He's on the level. Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. The rain is gone. Mr. Starbuck, I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right. We'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent, you'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space! I love space! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, the cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself! This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down! Balderdash! Poppycock! British nonsense words! Sun, the moon, all of space is calling me. Solomon Soul Starbuck! Ready for launch! Begin the countdown! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! Lift off! This game is silly! Is he actually going to fly? Wait, he's lifting. Wait, he's going. Oh, okay. I noticed him going up and it was concerning me. Thanks for the assist, Judge. Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Well, with the shape of his head and everything. Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck's mind. I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. Oh, well, that's all kinds of depressing. Why you gotta show me that? I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think! If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge, like the lack of knife in his chest. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Okay, well, I'm guessing it has to do with the... yeah, okay. Now let's see, about this data that we just received. It supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body on Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your boldness! Let's have your verdict!
Objection!
Not yet, jackass! I'm on a roll. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now. It says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Terran's had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? Of course. Alright then, thanks for allowing me to prolong the trial. I guess it simply means that it's faulty as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono. Okay, fine, I will! It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of the case. Take a look here at this detailed description and you'll see what I mean. I didn't even have to point anything out. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Oh, okay, then I guess I do need to point it out. Never mind. Yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. It would have to be this.
Take that!
And how does this evidence present a contradiction? Take a gander with yon peepers, Judge, and check this mess right here.
Take that!
Wyatt at 50. Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran. It appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased? Apparently. I see. Your Honor finds it strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. I mean, if it had gone, like, down or something, sure, but it didn't. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence.
What, you got an explanation? I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. I want my stale bread! But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection!
What if that's stupid? I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. You know, you do get special privileges for good behavior, you know that, right? Okay. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase just as your rations don't increase. Ding dong. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You'd better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as a mere equipment malfunction. Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can! The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display in his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here? Is my theory to be accurate? Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, I understand as much. I get you. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. Yeah! The victim was carrying the defendant! What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was what? What you gotta say about that one? Order in the court, Mr. Justice! You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran? It would explain the complete and total lack of a knife that no one's bringing up. It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right. There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time. How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection!
I'm glad he has an answer, because I don't. Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken plate. Excuse me? How dare you use my obtuse and forced metaphors against me? It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Tarrant was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Yeah, that's what I thought. There were 2 people who claimed to be the first on the scene. Well, can we truly trust their statements? Let's see. The 2 people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? It's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first 2 people on the scene. Skull! Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. I just realized! Okay. Could you please show Detective Arm to the stand? Yeah, that's what I just realized. I have an announcement, everyone! What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb! The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode! Load! A bomb? Now? Ah, everybody run! Ah, I don't want to die! Oh no, everybody's panicking. Head for every door you can! Silence. Headless chickens with a death wish, the lot of you! Calm yourselves before all else! Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here! What about Mr. Starbuck's dream? Who will carry out Clay's final wish? We can figure that all out later, bro! I don't care what happens to me! I'm not letting some blum blow the truth up forever! I refuse to let things end here! Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic! If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die! Come on, this way! Let me go! Apollo! Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet? Juniper! Are you alright? Apollo, no! Not that way! And that's the backstory of that! Oh my god, okay. The only good news I can actually rip out of this situation is the fact that we finally caught up to the beginning of the game. Nowhere to go but forward from here. Man, I'll see you all next time.